I like reading online, but having a paper version is to read and to annotate and to share with other people. It's just another way to enjoy it. I was a big reader growing up, but I kind of fell out of that hobby a little bit and I rediscovered reading. I don't know, I just stumbled upon a recommendation online and like, oh, fanfiction. And I gave it a go and I loved it. I loved it enough that I wanted a copy on my shelves and, well, discovered very quickly that if I wanted one on my shelves, I needed to make it. It can be a work of art if you like put the time into it. It can be like very, very beautiful. And I think it's great to appreciate that. You can make a book very, very simple. Like there are typeset that are very simple and still are beautiful. And the cover, they don't need to have like a pretty drawing on it or anything. It can just be the title on it and it's still going to be a book. I think there's a lot of beauty in simplicity. If you buy a book in a store, you can change the cover. So that's called a rebind. So you use the same text block, but you change the cover of it. You can also bind copyright-free books like Alice in Wonderland or Sherlock Holmes, stories like that, or public domains. The fanfiction has some extra rules and is very, very different from all the rest. There's the intellectual property of those characters in the fanfiction. The authors are not, they don't have the copyright of those characters, but they still use it. They use them. By keeping it free, it's keeping it legal. So we keep it free. It's not that complicated, but it does have a lot of steps. Somebody in the community once said that bookbinding is like 50 hobbies in a trench coat, and I totally go by that. Like I learned so many hobbies while doing bookbinding because you want to add this, but you're like, oh, how hard can it be? And then you try it and then you're like, okay, well, now I'm doing this too. When there's a story that I want to bind, my first thing would be to come up with some kind of theme for the book. And then I'll start it. That's the beauty of it. You can start wherever you want. You can start by designing the cover, or you can start with a typeset. It's a lot of steps, but some of them can be interchanged. Sometimes I like to draw the first page of that typeset, and I'll sometimes make it match with my cover. Typesetting is putting the story in a way that can be printed on double-sided paper and folded into signatures to put in a book. It needs to be made in a specific way so it can be printed. The typeset can be very daunting at first because it's kind of complicated when you start, but a lot of us share our typeset, so if you're just starting, you can just ask if somebody is sharing it. Everybody, either artists or authors or fellow binders, everybody have their different boundaries. And I think the main thing is to try and respect that as much as possible. Authors sometimes don't want their stories to be bound, and some artists have some boundaries around their art, like they don't want them edited and stuff. Some binders don't want their typesets to be shared with other people. So it's just trying to be respectful of people's wishes. Once you've made your typeset, then you need to print it. Then you fold your pages into signatures. So you need to fold them into like little stacks, and that's called signatures. Then you punch holes in them and then you sew them together. And then you will glue that spine so it stays together. So that's making the text block. Fill all of the little gaps. Once that's done, you can keep it as is. You can also trim the edges. So I have a guillotine for that.
Very much.
Yes. Another revolution type of guillotine. Then you can do the cover for it. So you need book boards and a ruler. And you make the cover for it, and then you cover it in book cloth or whatever material you want. Some people do leather, some use some type of paper. And pages too that you need to put in between them. And you put the title on it, and then you case them in together. That's the last step.
Oh.
Oh yeah, I ask questions all the time. And yeah, people are very knowledgeable and they will help a lot. And it's a gift-giving community, so people are not gatekeeping their knowledge. There you go. The first book that you make is gonna be probably the worst one because you make all the mistakes. The first thing that I did when I took it out of the press is like sit down on my couch and read it. I was so proud. I made a book, and I think like as imperfect as it is, it's still like one of my favorites because of that, because it's my first. It's still nice to keep it and like look at it and go like see how far you've come after that.
Look who's joined me.
You can pause them at any point. Like I can make a typeset and not use it for a year. It just stays in my computer. I can print and make a text block and not use it, and keep it for later. Most of the books I make, I usually send them away. I will gift them or trade them away, and there are some group exchanges as well that we do in the community. Sometimes I'll write the names inside and stuff in the typeset directly, and it's awesome. It's a really nice community. I'm just so glad that we can still have that physical item option. Having them on my shelves, I can keep them forever and read them forever. Some of these stories, I love them so much. I just wanted them to hold and to have. I don't know.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe to discover more hobbies and visit notjustahobby.com to learn more.